Okay, so tonight's topic is going to be the member experience with pathways, because you're going to get questions coming soon of what am I going to see? What are my choices going to be for paths? So that's what we're talking about. So when they first get into pathways, they're going to get an assessment to take. And this can help them get an idea of what's going to be the best path for them. Now, there's a total of 10 different paths available right now, and they are working on getting more rolled out as well. So that's a good thing to know. Now, I'll send these documents out to you here after the meeting. The first one, maybe. If the technology works. There we go. And so here is a document. Can you guys see that or not? It says pathways, paths, and brief project descriptions.
No, it says progressing through the paths. It's the PowerPoint.
Oh, it's on PowerPoint. Okay. Let me change screens. Now can you see that? The PDF?
Yeah, pathways, paths, and brief project descriptions. It's black and white. Yes.
Yep. So this I'll send this document out to you guys, and I'll also bring copies of these to the presentations, to the clubs.
Oh, good.
And I'll bring one for every member. Now, these are the 10 paths you see up here. Let me, so 10 paths. That's ugly. Now.
Sorry. A 3-year-old was drawing on your screen.
Okay, so there's 5 levels in the path, and each level has 2 to 3 projects increasing in skill, as you can read there. So you can see there's 14 projects to complete a path. Now you can read all this. I'm not going to read it verbatim for you. And I did get this from another Toastmaster in Kansas City, as we can see. So this is going to kind of show you what each level is going to be for the paths. So level 1 is going to be really easy to get. And that's why for DCP points, you have to get 4 to get a point. Basically, you have an icebreaker, which is typical, giving evaluations, and then doing a research speech, which those are easy. So level 1 is very basic, very simple. So that's going to be why in new member packets we can give just project 1 right away. You can always put off an icebreaker speech and give it out to someone. Now level 2, we can see there are 3 projects and 3 speeches and 1 larger project, which is being a Toastmaster or being a mentor. Now here's where you'll start breaking down into the different paths of what can be done. I mean, as you can see, there's going to be a lot of different opportunities for members at this point to really help them grow. Level 3, even more. There's more detailed stuff to do. And the blue ones are actually more challenging ones. I mean, we see down here. I need a spotlight thing. And Donnie, I apologize, you can't see this.
With that little arrow?
Yep. Oh, you can see the arrow. Awesome.
It was a baby arrow, but now there's a green arrow.
Yes.
It's bigger.
So we can see like the focus on the positive, that's going to be easier one. For 2 weeks, you record your positive and negative feelings. And then you gave a 2 to 3 minute speech. Or as, creating effective visual aids. That's something that can be more challenging for a newer member. So we're going to see some of those tougher speeches. Now, level 4, go away. We're going to start building the skills up. Okay, so I apologize. Blue is more freedom in your topic. And we start seeing, once again, these get to be a little more intense. And you will see occasionally the 360 evaluations. That's going to be very similar to the round robin evaluation, strictly speaking, already does. But it's going to have all members of the club give an evaluation. I'll show this here a little bit. I mean, even here, create a public relations plan. I mean, that's one of the projects you can be doing for level 4. And then there's another project, like create a podcast recording 60 minutes of podcast content.
Holy smokes.
Now, that's going to take more of a commitment from members, but that's kind of the idea behind Pathways, getting a larger commitment because they're growing more. Or even, like we're doing right now, there's manage online meetings. So, I mean, if you have an area director who is want to do council meetings like Kiki does, that could be part of the project for level 4. And level 5, this is the capstone of the path. Much more, intense projects. This is where you'll start seeing some of those leadership positions come into play. Building a small team to host a team building event. I mean, this is where projects get a little more intense, even more. Then at the final page of this document is at a glance, all paths and projects. This kind of give you the overview of what to kind of expect for each different path, which is good because you do not get a preview of path before you select it. So this will be a good thing for members to see before they choose what they want to do. Now within those paths, there is electives. And does anyone know how many electives there are for Pathways?
300.
Yep. 300 wonderful electives for people to do. AKA, no one better get bored. If someone completes all 300 electives, then they can start all over. So another document I'll send out to you is the competencies, which is the electives, which breaks it down by level what's available. I mean, can you guys see that or not?
Yeah, it's a whole list of competencies, like about
Okay.
10 on.
Just want to make sure you guys can see them still.
Yep.
Okay, so Donnie, since you can't see them, just what some of these are is identify your communication leadership skills, or understand the need to be open to receiving feedback. This is level 1. And there's much more there.
Yeah, I'm listening along, but I can see where you really need Zoom to.
Yeah, it does make it easy.
To really take it in, but I am listening.
Okay, and I'll send documents out after the meeting for everyone to see themselves.
Well, you're going to go over some of this at our Division C meeting too?
Yep.
Good, I need repetition.
Okay, so like level 2 is things like recognizing the importance of respecting the customs etiquette of other cultures, or demonstrating understanding of the definition, purpose, and benefits of mentoring and virtual mentoring. Which I think with Zoom access now, we can start pushing more for members as a virtual mentoring. I think that'll actually be really handy in the future. And each level, more and more competencies come available. So like we're in level 3 right now, create stories that have the desired emotional impact on the audience. Like for example, Donnie, your Christmas speech would have been wonderful for that.
Oh, okay.
Or there's adapt and personalize anecdotes for speeches in different situations.
The first one on that list, Jacob, is kind of, Donnie would like that one too. It says apply storytelling techniques and descriptive skills to make the presentation relatable and interesting.
Actually,
She likes storytelling, so.
Look at this, Dottie. You're gonna like level 3. It's lots of storytelling in here.
Okay.
In level 3, there's even more here.
You know, I do have a question though, Jacob.
Yes.
I know I'm not, but my question is, Claire and I were talking about DCP points, and I actually have an empty CL, plus I have 2 or 3 others that I'm working on that are partially filled up. And we were talking about the fact that we don't want to just throw those away because, you know, the club could actually use that for a DCP point.
Yeah.
My question is, once we get on pathways, can we still submit those CLs and CCs, or do we have to do one or the other?
You can do both at the same time.
I think
Okay,
that's in the one of the 26 questions, I think, now that I think about it.
Yeah, you can do them both at the same time. Difference with pathways is going to be that instead of having a book to fill out, you're going to be personally responsible for entering in base camp what positions you held in the club meeting.
Okay. Then I have another question.
Okay.
With our pathways, as we continue to move forward, will there still be an HPL project, and will we still have the same HPL packet?
The HPL packet is going to change, but there still will be a leadership project like that. That's level 4.
Yeah,
My question then is, I was thinking about doing an HPL since I'm active in the district and doing it on like the division contest. Can I have that submitted and then they just hold on for 2 or 3 years that I actually completed the HPL? Does it work that way?
I think you actually have to have that submitted under the legacy program.
Okay, so it would be futile for me at this point. Unless I were doing a DTM in the old program, it's kind of silly to do an HPL in the old program with those old manuals.
And I mean, Donnie, at the pace you go, I could see you completing several of these paths before the end of the year already. I mean, if we do roll out end of April, you can very well get to level 4 by June.
Okay, but I guess my question is, should I go ahead and do an HPL now, or should I just wait and just do it in the new program and see how that plays out?
Well, I think that's up to you, because I mean, we'll have until about 2020 in legacy program, and so there's plenty of time left to complete those books if you want to.
Okay, and then Jacob, if I did complete one, they would hold on to that, and then we could apply it towards the pathways.
I don't think you apply it if you didn't. The HPL now under legacy, I don't think you can apply to pathways.
Okay, that's what I was saying, because I won't get a DTM in the old program, not a second one. I would do a second DTM in the new program.
Yeah. Linda, did you have something to say?
Yes, this is Linda. I think on the HPL, if I'm not mistaken, like you said, it's 2 different. One right now would not apply for that new program, correct? I mean, there are different types of HPL projects. And then with what Donnie's saying, should she start one now? I think it would depend how far along she is on what she's doing toward a DTM right now, whether she could complete that within 2 years, correct, from the beginning point in April for the pathways. Then there's 2 more years, correct, to complete everything and finish. Yeah. So if Donnie wishes to do her DTM under the current program, then yes, you should, correct, do this HPL for the current program. But if you want to move forward and do the other one, then you should probably do that. Is that correct? To do the other HPL.
Yeah, I will not get another DTM in the old program. I have my Advanced Communicator Gold, Advanced Leader Silver. All I have to do is apply for a DTM at this point. So I won't get one in the old program again. If I get another DTM, it'll be in the new program.
Okay.
So, I mean, what I recommend for you, Donnie, then is once Pathways rolls out, just go ahead and get on those. I mean, finish the books you have right now, and then just get into Pathways and then start enjoying it. Because we have so many more opportunities from Pathways than we did in this traditional program. So kind of getting back to this, because I have another meeting right after this too. So level 4, just even more in there. I mean, these are even more advanced, meaning assist a project to plan, execute, understand, and evaluate a goal, or construct a system of leadership that motivates others to accomplish a task or goal or plan. I mean, level 4 is much more leadership driven.
Wow.
And then level 5, recognize the need to adapt the leadership style based on the situation, people being led. And I mean, things just keep going up and up and up and up in difficulty, but builds the member strengths up. And then there are some foundational competencies as well that kind of resonate throughout the program. Let's see here. With the evaluation pulled up here as well. And like I said, I'll send all these out to you, even breaking down what electives are available under different paths.
Now, you mentioned the evaluation process.
Yep.
Is that fairly similar? I know I evaluated Karen Watson on her icebreaker, and it seemed like it followed a similar.
It's similar, follows similar path. Let me see. Can you guys see the evaluation form?
It says 360 evaluation.
Yep. So they're starting to encourage now. What a lot of us are already doing is having more evaluations for a person. So 360 evaluation, I mean, in business terms, it's person below you, your peer, and person above you evaluates you. Full circle. So now they're recommending in Toastmasters we start doing those 360 evaluations. And different paths have different evaluation forms. And this was a sample I was able to get pulled down. And these are going to be PDF fillable forms, so they can be done on the computer, or someone can print them out and then upload them after the speech. I think that'll be good.
You said they recommend doing the 360.
Yeah.
Earlier, it looked like only certain ones were 360. They recommend doing that on all of them?
Well, these are the ones that was pulled down. In the text I was reading, they would like to see 360 evaluations, but they're not going to be required. Just because they want the speakers to get more feedback from more people.
Okay.
That's kind of what they're seeing. Well, like I said, I'll send all these out to you. You can see, kind of get an idea of what they look like. And let's get back to the PowerPoint. Okay, can you guys see the PowerPoint again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. And here's kind of what the DTM path looks like. You have your club leadership. You still have your, your youth leadership or speechcraft, district leadership, coaching or mentoring, education to DTM. So that process is not changing all too much. It's just a few different steps in there.
Looks like they took out coach the club sponsor though.
I'm almost wondering if club mentor isn't gonna that if the sponsor's not gonna follow with club mentor. Because they're still working on finalizing the DTM program right now with Pathways.
Yeah.
Since no one's had a chance. But essentially what has to happen, you have to complete 2 paths completely. And then you can get to DTM, as well as meeting all these.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if you have the DTM in the regular pass and then you can have another DTM in Pathway?
Yeah. I mean, all education levels are going to stay the same. I mean, it's just like when we see people with competent Toastmaster designations right now. I mean, those are not going to change. They're not going to leave,
So it's more like a new goal for people who achieve the DTM to work on
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, so it's going to give, experienced members something new to work on, and it'll give new members a whole new world of things to look at.
Well, I think those of us that Donnie and I obviously are very close to getting our DTMs this summer. She's closer than I am, but once we get that, I think that experienced members need to be role models in the club and move forward and kind of jump into pathways, and that way you can promote it rather than just, well, I read this or I read that. Well, but if you're doing it, then it's, I think we'll be able to relate to the new members more easily.
Yep, and that's what they're recommending right now, because new members, there's clubs, new members come in with pathways, and none of the experienced members can mentor them through it because they refuse to look at it. So we do.
That'd be bad.
It would be bad.
Yeah,
but
we've got to get on board.
Well, there's some people so stubborn they won't do it.
A little bit of resistance at this point. Is that right?
Yeah.
Really?
As people get more acquainted with it, like maybe that will dissipate a little bit.
Yeah, and what they're saying in the webinar this last week is there is resistance, but as soon as they actually look at it, they like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I saw the fun fact my agenda sent out. There's 300,000 some people in pathways.
30,000.
30,000. Okay. There was a zero in there. But very few using paper manuals. So even the older members who initially rejected
Watch it, Jacob. Hey, I logged into Zoom twice today.
Well, you're not one of those. I'm talking Gene Dyer old people.
Oh. Yeah, she's got 20 years on me, I think.
But once they see how easy it's doing it online, they enjoy it. Because online you'll have the video clips, you'll have more resources available to you than just the paper manuals.
That's what the report was at the training I attended in Minneapolis. They gave a synopsis of that and said that so far the people that are on board have been very receptive to it.
Yeah, it's just getting them past the hump of actually logging into pathways.
Yeah.
And getting people actually logging to Toastmasters for the first time.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's recommended as well, is people get logged into Toastmasters before their pathways.
Yep.
So they're not shocked and confused what's on the website.
There's a wealth of information out there if we just use it.
There is, and they just have to utilize it. Well, that's it for this week's virtual support session. I appreciate you guys coming on. Is there anything you'd like to see covered next week?
I think just a continuation. Or
Okay.
is there something you'd recommend that we should delve into more?
Well,
Jacob?
there's one topic for sure, which is going to be base camp managing. I will make sure we can get more of the VPEs on board with us, because that's going to be crucial for them to learn about.
I'm going to say even just giving us the basics about what this base camp is. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I can do base camp basics next week.
yeah, base camp basics. I mean, we just can't see a whole lot out there at this point. I mean, I worked through the icebreaker, but that was really the only thing I could look at. Well, that doesn't really tell you much.
Yeah. And like I said, the documents I'll send out are going to have a lot more detailed for what to expect in the pathways.
Yes, it looked like a lot of information on there.
We're learning that there's more information put out by just members rather than actual Toastmasters right now.
I have a question about these sessions. Are these geared toward officers, the club officers?
Sorry, the virtual support sessions, Toastmasters want us to at least make sure we're hitting the VPEs.
Okay, that's what this is. Okay.
And then they say you can invite as many as you want.
You're giving some others. I know you're giving the one to the Strictly Speaking. I think, is that an hour session?
That
On
will be, I'm gonna try doing 30 minutes
30
because
minutes?
Tammy has a good point that you can't keep anyone's attention, much past 30 minutes on a single topic.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure. I know we've discussed it at some of the TLIs and such, and it seems like they said they're hour-long sessions, but if you could condense it.
In the hour long I've been seeing, it hasn't been working as people want it to.
So you think you're doing it in half an hour at that meeting?
Half hour, 40 minutes, and depending on questions.
Okay. And then by the time there's questions,
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I'll have lots of handouts for people. Even more of our packets actually come with the information.
Yeah.
Great.
I know there's some issues getting the packets. Do you
Yeah,
have-
there's,
Okay.
but they're supposed to have them here next week. That's what the latest email said.
Well, thank you, Jacob.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you.
And I will
know you're
release,
busy.
I'll put this video out so you guys can watch again if you have questions, and I'll get the documents emailed to you here shortly as well.
Appreciate
Great.
it.
Thank you.
Yep,
Great,
no
thank
problem.
you.
Yep,
Good
no
night.
problem.
Good night, Linda.
Bye, Claire. Bye, Kiki. Thanks.
Bye, Donnie.
Bye, Donnie.
Bye.